Yes. Physics and chemistry was tough. Okay, not in biology. How would you evaluate the biology paper? Got least mark in physics and chemistry. Biology, how many of you were able to score above 300? Paper was moderate. Okay. Biology, how many of you were able to take score more than 300? Okay, so far I'm able to see only 285. 285, one person is telling, and then like who else has said? Someone else has said some other mark. 290, I have got. 266, 280, 200, 260, 217, 277, 249, 242, 221, 211. Sadly, no one turned up to get above 300. Huh? Pawan, what's your mark? Okay. So what is preventing 300? Think it was a very small portion. It was just like 2-3 areas. In spite of it, like you have like kind of like, okay, the paper was not 360. I think it was there for 356. I think one question in biology was less, and then one question in chemistry was more. I gave 90 questions. I don't know how it happened the other way, but yeah, there were 90 questions in biology. Some system thing has taken. So see what is preventing. So I know that there were like at least 5 questions which were tough, for which you might not have known the answer. So which means the maximum mark anyone would have got with your knowledge levels, with whatever I have given, totally 6 questions. I think totally 6 questions were tough because like they were all like mostly things factual and then like out of the syllabus. Not out of the syllabus exactly. It is there in the syllabus, but something which you might not have heard. Okay. So 6 questions, 6 into 24 would be what? 6 into 4 would be 24, which means 356 minus 24. You might have got like 2, 3, 332 marks you should have got. If you have like completely thorough, you should have got 332 marks. Okay. So the 6 questions were like kind of like factual. I have asked some factual questions, which you will be like kind of like knowing it now only. Okay. Unless you have read about it somewhere else. Apart from the 6 questions, I don't think there is any problem at all in the question paper. Okay, so which means like most of them were like taken only from NCERT or syllabus that I have like taught you. So see, at least 300 plus is something which I have expected. So even 300 plus is a good score. If you have not got 300 plus, the preparation is insufficient. Okay, so please sit through and then like go through the paper. I will discuss the paper sometime and then I'll try to teach you things. Okay. So now anyways, like we have to like proceed further. Can you just tell me where did we stop the last thing? Which question? Which question? Nearly 150. Okay, we have gone to that level. (164). Okay, this we have seen. Pseudomycelium also we have seen. Dikaryophase also we have seen. I think we discussed this question. Virus can be considered it as living because I think we have discussed this question. Association between phycobiont, mycobiont, lichen we have studied. I think we have completed till this one we have completed. Which of the following is not true about a thing? Yeah, I think this question we saw completed. 165. I think we have completed this also. 165 also we have completed. 166. Which of the following is a cell wall component of fungi? I think this is a very direct question. Chitin. Chitin is a very direct answer. I don't think I have to discuss this thing. In the five kingdom classification, Chlamydomonas and Chlorella have been included in what they are asking. It is Protista. Normally, where is it included? Normal cases, Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, before five kingdom classification, it was classified under algae, under plants. But according to five kingdom classification, it is classified under what? It is classified under Protista because they are eukaryotic and unicellular. You please understand that even today we don't follow the thing. I mean, like five kingdom classification. Like let me give you a small snapshot. So I'm just going to type Chlamydomonas. Okay. The moment I'm giving that Chlamydomonas, if I'm going to click the Wikipedia of it, if you're seeing here, it is coming under the phylum Chlorophyta. It is coming under the class Chlorophyaceae. Okay. It is coming under order Chlamydomonales. It is coming under the family Chlamydomonaceae. Okay. All these things are algae. Okay. Even here, it is given Chlamydomonas is a genus of green algae, which means even now we consider them under algae only. Okay. But according to five kingdom classification, this is something which is coming under Protista. Okay, so we today don't follow the five kingdom classification strongly. You need to understand the thing. Chlamydomonas, because like five kingdom classification was like used only till 2000. After 2000, I think they have like kind of come up with some kind of like modern classification. This Carl Woese classification of domain classification, and today we don't consider them as like a thing. I mean, like a unicellular organism. I mean, like we don't consider them as a protist anymore. You see here, even this in this Wikipedia page, it is trying to tell about Chlamydomonas as a green algae, and it is considered as a unicellular flagellate. Okay, according to this one, which one? Five kingdom classification, Chlamydomonas belongs to which category? It belongs to Protista. Where can you see it? You just see this line. Kingdom Protista has brought together Chlamydomonas. You read this line, then you will understand it. Kingdom Protista has brought together Chlamydomonas chlorella, earlier placed in algae with plants and both having cell walls, with Paramecium and amoeba, which were earlier placed in the animal kingdom, which lack cell wall. So, which means all prokaryotic organisms were grouped under Kingdom Monera, and all unicellular eukaryotic organisms were placed under Protista. Okay, if they ask today, according to five kingdom classification, if the question is specifically mentioning that it is about five kingdom classification, it is only in Protista. Okay, you are not studying the modern classification yet. You are studying only five kingdom classification. They will not ask a question like Chlamydomonas is a Protista or algae. That kind of questions and all you will not be able to get it. But please understand, according to five kingdom classification, it is coming under which one? It is coming under Protista. The next one, Rhizopus belongs to the class of which one? Phycomycetes. Under Phycomycetes, it is a zygomycete. Bread mold. It is a direct question. In Whitaker's five kingdom classification, eukaryotes were assigned to which one? Only four of the five kingdoms. Eukaryotes were there in the four kingdoms, and prokaryote was there in only one kingdom. Which was the only prokaryotic kingdom? Good. Common bread mold is Rhizopus. This is a very direct question again. I'm not like kind of delving on it. The next question, choose the correct order of discovery for each of the kingdom in classification they are asking. Okay. So the correct answer is, first you need to know that initially all these guys were very clear about plants and animals. Okay. Then they felt that there was a need for unicellular organisms. So they came up with a group which is called as Protista. This Protista was having all unicellular organisms. But even after seeing this thing, they were like thinking that there were like two classes. One is a prokaryote and the other one is a eukaryote. So then they clubbed all eukaryotes together under Protista, and then all prokaryotes came under Monera. Okay, so the first four kingdoms were what? Plants and animals. Then came Protista, and then came Monera. And finally, what happened? A wing of these plants were found to be saprophytic, so they came up with fungi. So, which means, so this is the order. The right order is Plantae and Animalia, Protista, Monera, and then fungi. Okay, this is the order with which things came. Okay, this is something that you should know. Okay, this is like part of 12th standard portion, but still now not wrong in knowing them now. So I'll just teach you this concept. Okay. Variation within bacterial species will occur due to what is the question. So you should know, you already know what is conjugation. Okay. I just have to teach you what is transformation and transduction. Let me teach you transformation. Let us say that there is a bacteria which is like this. The bacteria is having a genome like this. Okay. And now you have a plasmid in the bacteria. So this is the plasmid. This is the bacterial genome. Sometimes what can happen is the bacterial genome and the plasmid can get attached with each other. So in this case, what is this thing called as? This is called as transformed genome. Okay. So this kind of attachment is called as transformation. There is one more kind of transformation which can be seen. Let us say that there is an organism. Let us say that there is one more bacteria which is there. These two things are having. This is like bacteria A. Let us say this is bacteria B. Okay. They are like coexisting together. Suppose, let us say that they were put together in a test tube. And let us say that these particles are there along with the thing. You also have the yellow particles are there. Just in case, suppose if one of them is dying, let us say that the yellow is dying, and then the fragments of DNA particles are there in the medium. And let us say that this particular bacteria is alive. Sometimes what can happen is this DNA can enter. Just by engulfing phagocytosis, by eating up like that, this DNA can enter. When it is entering this DNA, if this DNA is getting attached with the chromosome, then we call that also as transformation. What is this thing? Now this has become a case where cell A with gene from cell B. This can happen. So what is that I'm trying to explain is sometimes the bacteria can pick up genes from the environment while it is eating, or like while it is phagocyting, while it is like kind of engulfing. So I'm like just trying to tell that there are possibilities that the gene from B can enter into A, or gene from A can enter into B. Either way it can happen. So this is what we call it as transformation. What is the use of this extra DNA? Whatever property that it has, it will be like kind of transformed. Sometimes this transformation can be beneficial. Sometimes this transformation can be dangerous. It can be like kind of like, it is not necessary that it has to be always beneficial. It can also become dangerous also to the bacteria. This is a natural phenomenon which is happening. Okay. No, what I'm trying to tell is like like bacteria is like present in like huge numbers. If you're considering a test tube like this will have millions of bacteria. This will have millions of bacteria, both the bacteria. Out of the thing, some particles are dying and those particles are being ingested inside. So it is all living there in that medium. Okay. So there is some food which is organic matter which is there. So it will try to take it as a food. But sometimes what can happen is like from like food, this particular thing will not get digested, but there is a chance that this can get integrated with the thing. So this kind of thing is also called as transformation. Sometimes what can happen is the plasmid can also get integrated with the host DNA. That is also transformation. Okay. So basically, what is transformation? The definition of transformation you should know. You please write what is the definition of transformation. Transformation is a process is a process of genetic transfer of a fraction of DNA from one bacteria to another, or a plasmid to the main chromosome of the bacteria. It can happen between what? It can happen between, it is a genetic transfer. Genetic transfer means gene is getting transferred. Of what? It is a fraction of DNA. It is not the complete DNA. It is just a fraction of a DNA is transferred. From who to who? From one bacteria to another. Or it can happen between what and what? A plasmid to the main chromosome of a bacteria. Are we understanding? Okay, so this is transformation. The next one is what we call it as transduction. You need to know what is transduction. Let us try to study transduction. So what is transduction? Transduction, I'll just explain. Let us say that this is a bacteria. Okay, this bacteria is having a gene or a chromosome. Let us say a virus is infecting it. What is happening is, let us say that this viral genome is kind of getting integrated with it. Let us say that the virus is multiplying by lytic cycle. But what is that it is happening is that the viral particles let us say that the virus which is formed is having the gene of virus. Along with that thing, let us say that it is carried some amount of gene from the bacteria because of some mistake. Okay. And then this virus is going to infect another bacteria. Let us say that this is another bacteria. Yellow color is another bacteria which is having a yellow color gene. So now this blue color virus is infecting this thing and it is giving the DNA. Along with that thing, what is happening? Let us say that this particular white genome is come. So now let us say this is getting infected. So while infecting, what is happening? So what has happened? The white part has got attached with the yellow part. So this white part is from bacteria A. This yellow part is from bacteria B. This part is from virus. So here what has happened, you are able to see that a small fragment of DNA from bacteria A has come into bacteria B because of an intermediate agent like a virus. This kind of transfer is called as a transduction. Are you able to understand? So, it doesn't mean anything else. It is like just meaning that a DNA can be transferred from one part to another thing. Okay. இந்த பாக்டீரியாவுக்கு வந்துட்டு ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸ் இருக்குமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டா வந்துட்டு ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸ் இருக்கும் இருக்காது அதெல்லாம் தெரியாது. வாட் ஆர் த மெத்தட்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஜெனட்டிக் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் அதுதான் நான் சொல்றேன். Genetic gene can be transferred between two bacteria in three ways. The first way is conjugation. கான்ஜுகேஷன்னால என்ன நடக்கும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா ஜீன் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் நடக்கும். ரெண்டாவது மெத்தட் வந்துட்டு we call it as transformation. டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர்மேஷன்னால என்ன நடக்கும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா ஜீன் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் நடக்கும். மூணாவது விதம் வந்துட்டு என்னதுன்னா டிரான்ஸ்டக்ஷன். டிரான்ஸ்டக்ஷன்னாலையும் வந்துட்டு உங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு என்ன நடக்கும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா உங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு யூ வில் ஹேவ் திஸ் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆஃப் ஜீன் நடக்கும். ஸோ இந்த மூணு விதத்துல ஒரு பாக்டீரியாவோட டிஎன்ஏ இன்னொரு பாக்டீரியாக்குள்ளார போறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஓகே, இதுல வந்துட்டு அது உயிரோட இருக்கும் சாகும் அதெல்லாம் வந்துட்டு நத்திங் இஸ் த திங். ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் சேயிங் தட் வாட் ஆர் த மெத்தட்ஸ் இன் விச் gene from one bacteria will transfer to another bacteria. இதை நம்ம எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். how we are exploiting we will study it in biotechnology later in 12th standard, not now. ஓகே, இப்போ இதனால வந்துட்டு இப்போ இந்த பாக்டீரியா வந்துட்டு செத்து போயிடுமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டா மோஸ்ட்லி இஃப் இட் இஸ் லைசோஜெனிக் இது இருக்கலாம். ஸோ நீங்க என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா வந்துட்டு வாட் கேன் ஹேப்பன் இஸ் this can lies basically, or this is like kind of இது லைட்டிக் சைக்கிள்ல வந்துட்டு செத்து போகிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பும் இருக்கும். இல்ல லைசோஜெனிக் சைக்கிள்ல உயிரோட வாழ்றதுக்கும் பாசிபிலிட்டி இருக்கும். இட் கேன் பி லைக் எனிதிங். But what is the thing that we are understanding is there is a possibility of gene from one bacteria entering into another bacteria by means of an intermediate agent. Okay, so this is what is transduction. What is the definition for transduction? Transduction is, it is a process of gene transfer from one bacteria to another bacteria via an intermediate agent like virus. Okay, so this is what is transduction. Okay, இது வந்துட்டு this conjugation, transformation, transduction are very unique to unicellular organisms, prokaryotes. So பாக்டீரியாக்கு மட்டும்தான் வந்துட்டு இந்த ப்ராப்பர்ட்டிலாம் இருக்கும். இந்த transformation can be seen in some higher organisms. Okay, conjugation, transductionலாம் வந்துட்டு பாத்தீங்கன்னா it is seen only through in the lower organisms. பாக்டீரியால தான் ரொம்ப ப்ராமினென்ட். Okay, are we done? இப்போ இந்த question வந்துட்டு now you will be able to answer quickly. So இப்போ இந்த questionல என்ன கேட்டிருக்காங்கன்னா they are asking variation in bacterial species occur due to what? A conjugation திருப்பி சொல்லி தரணுமா? Conjugationலாம் வந்துட்டு திருப்பியா? Conjugation is genetic transfer between one organism to another organism via a sexual transmission mode. ஒரு ஆர்கானிசம் இருக்கு, இன்னொரு ஆர்கானிசம் இருக்கு. இந்த ஆர்கானிசம்ல வந்துட்டு பிளாஸ்மிட் இல்ல, இந்த ஆர்கானிசம்ல பிளாஸ்மிட் இருக்கு. ஓகே, அப்போ என்ன நடக்கும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா இதுக்கு நடுவுல வந்துட்டு ஒரு பிள்ளை அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒன்று இருக்கு. இந்த பிள்ளை வந்துட்டு இட் இஸ் லைக் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் கான்ஜுகேஷன் டியூப் மாதிரி ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுது. ஒரு சேனல் மாதிரி ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி அடுத்த பாக்டீரியாவோட அட்டாச் ஆகுது. அந்த அட்டாச் ஆன இடத்துல வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னு கேட்டா இந்த பாக்டீரியாவோட பிளாஸ்மிட் வந்துட்டு மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணி மல்டிபிள் காப்பீஸா மாறிடுது. இதுல இருந்து ஒன் ஆஃப் த காப்பீஸ் வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா இந்த வழியா போயிட்டு இந்த பாக்டீரியாக்குள்ளார வந்துடுது. ஆஃப்டர் 2 times வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆயிடும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா ஆஃப்டர் சம் டைம் இந்த பாக்டீரியாலையும் வந்துட்டு ஜீனோமோட பிளாஸ்மிட் இருக்கு, இங்கேயும் பிளாஸ்மிட் இருக்கு. முன்னாடி இனிஷியலா பார்க்கும்போது இந்த பாக்டீரியால வந்துட்டு பிளாஸ்மிட் இல்ல இருக்கு, அதனால இதை வந்துட்டு எஃப் பிளஸ் ஸ்ட்ரெயின் சொல்லுவோம். இதுல வந்துட்டு இதை வந்துட்டு எஃப் மைனஸ் ஸ்ட்ரெயின் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். பட் இந்த கான்ஜுகேஷன் நடந்து இந்த ஜீன் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் நடந்த பிறகு இதுவும் எஃப் பிளஸ் ஸ்ட்ரெயினா மாறிடுச்சு, இதுவும் எஃப் பிளஸ் ஸ்ட்ரெயினா மாறிடுச்சு. This is what is conjugation. In the tube பேர் வந்துட்டு we call it as a conjugation tube. The conjugation tube யார் ஃபார்ம் பண்றனா it is the pili which is forming. அது அந்த புரோட்டீன்னால செஞ்சது conjugation tube. அதனால once the process is over it will dissolve. Okay, which is thicker, flagella or pili? Flagella is thicker. Okay, so now we will move on. Children, you're all like showing videos, so please see to that like you're like switching on off the video. Okay, he was removed from the class, don't worry. KVS, I mean, some student was using video, so I have just removed him. Is he there in the scene till now? Okay, he has been removed. Don't worry. And the same case will happen to anyone else who is going to switch on your video in between. Okay, I cannot be tolerating certain things. So next one, 173rd question. Facultative anaerobes are those bacteria which will what? Facultative anaerobes na normala vantu they will be aerobes, but there are conditions where when there is no oxygen in it, so we have like kind of enna pannalam appdin ketta they will be able to survive. So normally they are aerobes, but they will be like what appdin ketta they will become anaerobe whenever required. Mycoplasma is a facultative anaerobe, correct? So normally what will happen is mycoplasma will be requiring oxygen. But suppose if there is a situation there is no oxygen, in that case what will happen is, in that case the mycoplasma will be able to survive. That is what we call it as facultative anaerobe. Normally they require oxygen, but they can also survive in the absence of it. Okay, so இப்போ say for example நார்மலா ஆக்சிஜன் இருக்க ஏரியால தான் அது இருக்கும். இப்போ சடனா அந்த இடத்துல இப்போ ஆக்சிஜன் கம்மியாயிடுச்சு, அது செத்து போயிடுமா அப்படின்னு கேட்டா செத்து போகாது. இட் கேன் சர்வைவ் ஃபார் சம் டைம் without any problem. ஸோ கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு it can adjust with that thing. Okay, which of the following is extensively used in the genetical, biochemical and genetic work? இது directa it is asked from the question from the textbook, so it is like Neurospora. You see here, so you see here Claviceps and Neurospora are example for this particular thing. Neurospora is extensively used in biochemical and genetic work. All living organisms will not require oxygen to survive. There are organisms like yeast which are anaerobic in nature. Oxygen irundhuduna they will be like I mean like oxygen irundhuduna they will be able to produce more energy. But some organisms are strict anaerobes. Nariya category of organisms irukku. There are some organisms which are called as strict aerobes. Okay, you have one category which is called as strict anaerobes. Then in between you have the facultative organisms. And then you have the other end which is called as a strict aerobe. If a strict aerobe இருந்தது அப்படின்னா என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா they will always require oxygen. Oxygen is must. Strict anaerobes என்னதுன்னா devoid no oxygen is must. Facultative இருக்கிறது they can survive in both conditions. The facultative there is a facultative anaerobe or facultative aerobe. So normally இப்போ facultative anaerobe என்னதுன்னா normally it is what normally it is aerobe but can be in anaerobic condition. இது facultative aerobe என்னது, normally it is aerobe but can be in anaerobic condition. இது facultative anaerobe இது facultative aerobe இது facultative anaerobe இது facultative aerobe இது facultative anaerobe இது facultative aerobe 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 இது facultative a anaerobe, but can live in oxygen. Okay, strict anaerobes will die in the presence of oxygen. Yes. இப்போ ஈஸ்ட் எடுத்து நீங்க ஓபன் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னா வந்துட்டு செத்து போயிடும். ஈஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு ஆக்சிஜனுக்கு எக்ஸ்போஸ் பண்றீங்கன்னா இட் வில் டை. Claviceps will also cause ergotism. That is correct. What are delicacies, sir? Delicacies na வந்து சாப்பிடுறது, ருசிகரமான உணவு, அதுதான் டெலிகசி. Okay, this is 174. 175 வந்துட்டு which of the following is not a protist? இதுல protist வந்துட்டு எது இல்லைன்னா claviceps. Claviceps is what? Claviceps is a fungi. Okay, in the question, அடுத்த question is like what? This question is there. This question is not answered and the answer is covered. What do you think about the statement 1 and statement 2? Are they correct or wrong? What is statement 1? Statement 1 is correct or statement 2 is correct? Which one is correct? Which one is wrong? You answer, please. I got 2 people correct answer. Okay, நிறைய பேர் தப்பான ஆன்சர்ஸும் you are giving. Please understand, இதுல எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷனே கிடையாது. இதுல வந்துட்டு what is that they have given is they have given that statement 1 கரெக்டா statement 2 கரெக்டா அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Okay, amoeba during unfavorable conditions reproduces sexually by spore formation. Okay, you please understand, எல்லா ப்ரோட்டிஸ்டுக்குமே வந்துட்டு ஒரு கேரக்டர் இருக்கு. தே வில் பி ஏபிள் டு ஃபார்ம் வாட் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா தே வில் பி ஏபிள் டு சிஸ்ட் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி தே வில் ப்ரொடியூஸ். சிஸ்ட் அண்ட் ஸ்போர் தே கன்சிடர் இட் அஸ் சேம் ஒன்லி. ஓகே, அதனால வந்துட்டு தப்பு கிடையாது இது. அமீபா ஹஸ் நெவர் ரிப்போர்ட்டட் எனி செக்ஷுவல் ரீப்ரடக்ஷன். ஓகே, ஹியர் amoeba during unfavorable condition reproduces asexually by cyst formation. In the statement correct. Okay, in the இடத்துல they have given sexually, because of which this particular statement is wrong. Amoeba does not report sexual reproduction. Have you ever studied about sexual reproduction? You have only studied about amoeba on binary fission and multiple fission. And the multiple fission தான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து cyst formation. So because of that, this is wrong. The wall of the spore formed sexually in amoeba is called as a cyst. அந்த ஸ்போரோட வால்க்கு பேர் வந்து சிஸ்ட் கரெக்ட். பட் அகைன் இங்கேயும் என்ன பிரச்சனை அப்படின்னு கேட்டா செக்ஷுவலி அப்படின்னு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. The wall of the spore is not formed sexually, it is formed asexually. So which means this statement is also wrong. Which means the correct answer is both statement 1 and 2 are false. Yeah, right. Which of the following is false about protozoan கேக்குறாங்க. Okay, இப்போ இதுல வந்துட்டு this is the thing, ciliated protozoans வந்து ரெண்டு நியூக்ளியஸ் இருக்கும். We have studied about it, micronucleus and macronucleus. That is correct. Sporozoans have a infectious spore like stage. That is also correct. Okay, இந்த பாயிண்ட் வந்து தப்புன்னு கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Which part of this particular point is wrong? Can you just tell me? யாருமே வந்து டெக்ஸ்ட் புக் படிக்கவே இல்லை. Many of you. First line in Protozoa இதுதான். You just read this line. ஹோலோசோயிக்னா என்னது? முழுசா முழுங்குறது. முழுசா முழுங்குறது ஃபால்ஸா? அமீபாலாம் முழுசா முழுங்குமா முழுங்காதா? அமீபாவை தானே 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல ஹோலோசோயிக் படிச்சிருக்கீங்க. அமீபா புரோட்டோசோவனா இல்லையா? அமீபா இஸ் அ புரோட்டோசோவன். அதை 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல படிச்சிருக்கீங்க ஹோலோசோயிக். அப்ப எது தப்பு அதுல? Are you understanding? So a small word can make a sentence wrong. So you have to be very careful with each and every word in the option. சும்மா நினைச்ச மாதிரி வந்து I cannot like just like that go ahead with the thing. Okay. Even a small word can make a huge difference. That is what I'm trying to tell. இந்த இடத்துல predators and parasites வந்து they have given it as directly in their textbook. But you need to understand what is holozoic. Holozoic na முழுங்கணும். So you need to apply your mind. அமீபா ஒரு புரோட்டோசோவன், அதுதான் நம்ம ஹோலோசோயிக் படிச்சிருக்கோம். அப்ப இந்த பார்ட்டும் கரெக்ட், பட் இந்த பார்ட் வந்து தப்பு அப்படின்றது லெவலுக்கு வந்துட்டு யூ ஹாவ் டு திங்க். Next one, which one of the following pair is correctly matched? Okay, இதுக்கு சொல்லுங்க பார்க்கலாம். You can tell the answer. Mycorrhiza will take mineral uptake of இது வந்து கரெக்ட்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. Which one will produce biogas? Which one will produce biogas? Why it is yeast is wrong? What is the correct answer? Paramecium is also holozoic. That is not a problem. Methanogens, good. Methanobacteria, archaebacteria is all correct. Very good. Now tell me, what is myxomycetes? Which disease will cause ringworm? Fungi la வந்து deuteromycetes, correct. What is myxomycetes? Myxomycetes is an example for slime mold. Eldikonga. You please write it somewhere. Myxomycete is a slime mold. So that is wrong. Slime mold do not cause ringworm. Why D is wrong? Because of the word parasite. Rhizobium is not a parasite in roots of leguminous plants. It is what? It is a symbiont. It is a nitrogen fixing symbiont. So symbiont is the right answer. So adanala this is a wrong option. Okay. So these three are wrong and this one is correct. So they are asking which one of the following is correctly matched. So the answer is A. Yeah. Which of the following is the way in which viruses will multiply? இது படிச்சு பார்த்தாலே உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். It inserts the genetic material into the host cell and controls the host to produce the viral particles. This is Lytic cycle. It divides into two on its own, தப்பு. It enters into the host cell and modify the host proteins into viral particles. Okay, host protein வந்து modify பண்ணாது. Okay, it will produce newly. அதனால இது தப்பு. Modify பண்றதுனா ஏற்கனவே இருக்கதை வந்து modify பண்றது. So this answer is wrong. It divides into two with the help of the host enzymes. It will not divide into two. It will produce. So B is the right answer. And the last question of this particular thing, which of the following processes involved in the reproduction of protista? This is also given in the textbook directly. You just see here. You read this line. Protists reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. If it is sexually means it is involving what? Cell fusion is also there, zygote formation is also there. That is what is given here. So sexual reproduction involving cell fusion and zygote formation. So this is the correct answer. Are we guys able to understand? So with this thing, we are completing this paper. Okay, we have completed one paper completely. And then like what we can do is like we can continue with a new chapter tomorrow onwards. Tomorrow I will start this chapter cell division. Okay, and then tomorrow we will go ahead with the cell division. We'll start with cell division. So now I will show you the slides. First slide, second slide, third slide, fourth slide, fifth slide, sixth slide. Write it separately in a note and study it. That is the only way. Seventh slide. You don't have to remember the dates. Just remember the scientific name, scientist name and the contribution. Okay. Okay, children. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Sir, class முடிஞ்சிருச்சு. ஹார்ட்னா படிக்கணும். I'll discuss. Thursday, Friday we can do. This week the cell chapter fully. Amoeba is also a protozoan. Paramecium is also a protozoan.